Hello, kidney warriors. James here from Dadvice TV, your online kidney health coach, and this is Dadvice TV Live. And the year 2025 is starting to come to an end. We are, what is this? December 19th, if you're watching us live, getting right next to the holidays that are coming up. And let me tell you, I've got a great heartwarming story that we're going to go through tonight. We have someone who was diagnosed with kidney disease, and she was told what almost every single one of us has been told when we're diagnosed. There's nothing you can do. Just watch it decline, decline, decline. Well, she didn't accept that. She did something, and she's going to share her story from learning about it, what she did, what did she change to her diet, were there some things that she added to her treatment strategy that helped her turn her declining GFR around and turned it into a number that went up, and now it looks fantastic. Please give a great big giant warm welcome to my guest, Betty, also known as Dr. B. Hey, Betty, how you doing?
I am great, James. Thank you so much.
Hey, so happy to have you here. Now, it is always helpful for people to see other kidney patients that are going through the same things. They're going through the same scary things, the same challenges, and to hear what they've done and how they've turned things around. So I'm going to try to be as quiet as possible and let you share your amazing story.
Okay. So in 2022, I was diagnosed with chronic kidney disease. It was one of the most devastating times in my life because I was a healthy person. I'm healthy, I'm doing all the right things. I was really in the height of my retirement. I had begun to travel all over the world, see different things, and wow, this thing hit me. So, what am I going to do? The only thing that I could think of was how can I help myself? I went to the doctor and I said, "Can you give me some feedback? Can you give me some ideas of the things that I can do?" And she said, "Well, now let's wait a bit. Let's wait for the next labs to come out and let's see how you do. And it's not that bad. Just we'll see how it works." And I said, "Okay." Well, I wasn't satisfied with that. So I started calling around to find out if there were seminars that were available, if there's any body that could talk with me, and I could find nobody. But I did find a seminar. I went to this seminar and I thought, boy, I'm going to get some information and I'm going to really, really fight this thing. Well, I went to this seminar. I don't remember the name of the seminar. I don't even remember the the people that gave the seminar. But there was one thing that I remember
Mm-hmm.
that I took away. And that person said, and the person said, "There's nothing you can do about it. You just have to live with it." And that really crushed me. At this point, I am at stage 3A. My GRF is, my GFR is 46, and I
Mm-hmm.
am sinking. So I decided, okay, do the research. So I went online and I said, let me just go and see what other people are doing. And lo and behold, I found this podcast. And the person said, "Hello, Kidney Warriors." And I said, "Who in the world is this?" Well, this person had a story, let me tell you. First of all, not only did he have a story, but he had receipts. And what I call receipts is he had done the research. He was intentional, he was specific, he was compassionate, and I could tell from what he was saying that he felt this thing. But the most interesting thing about it is he was credible. To me, he was credible because he had done the research. So I decided, well, if this guy is getting better and he was as low as he says he am, what can I do? Well, I started writing down what he told me he ate. I wrote down everything he said he bought. I wrote down the menus that he said he had used. And I thought, okay, so I'm on my way. Well, I started getting better and I felt really good. But as I was getting better, I was feeling better, but I wasn't, the numbers, it would fluctuate up and down, up and down.
Mhm.
So this particular day, I said, I had a come to Jesus meeting with myself. And I said, you've got to do better than this. So I said to my PCP, I need you to refer me to someone. I really need to see a nephrologist. And she said, well, I don't. And I said, ma'am, I please need to see a nephrologist.
Mhm.
And she gave me the recommendation. And I went. Well, the nephrologist, I walked in and I looked around, and these people looked hopeless. They looked so. There were people in a wheelchair. There was a person, and they just looked sick. So when I went in to see the doctor, he said, "You are the healthiest person that I'm going to see today. So I want you to go back, and I want you to continue to do what you're doing." I thought, okay. I went back to James's, you know, program. And I thought, okay, this is what I'm going to. Every now and then he would pick up a bottle and he'd say, now here's some Renadyl, and it's specifically for people with kidney disease. And then he put it down. And I thought to myself, hmm, kidney disease, that's what I have. Renadyl. And I looked it up and I thought, oh my goodness, this costs too much. Well, lo and behold, let me tell you, this doctor came on the next time I was on the program. His name was Dr. Rosinski. And Dr. Rosinski talked about vitamins. And he talked about what some of you people are just doing exactly what other people are doing. You're not taking the right vitamins.
Mhm.
And I thought to myself, well, I guess he's talking to me, because just 2 weeks before that, well, I love to shop. And I went to this big box store, and they had come in with a huge supply of vitamins. And I thought, oh, wow, let me just go in here and do my shopping. And I shopped and I got all these vitamins. And then when I heard Dr. Rowe, I said, oh my gosh, I got to take these vitamins back. Well, honey, I went into that store with this bag of vitamins that I had purchased, but I hadn't opened it. And I said to her, I put on my face, I call it my kidney face. And I said to her, ma'am, I just can't, I just can't use these. My kidney, I was just been diagnosed and I can't use these. And she said, do you have the receipt? And I said, no, ma'am. And she said, well, let me just see what I can do. She totaled up every vitamin that I had purchased, and it came to about $150. She said, I can't give you the money back, but I can give you store credit. Well, that was fine with me because I knew I'd be going back to that big box store, because I like to shop, right? Well, honey, I tell you, I went to Renadyl. I went to the app and I purchased 3 bottles of Renadyl. I got a 3-month supply.
Mhm.
And let me tell you why I did that. Because I thought to myself, If I can go to this big box store and I can buy all these vitamins that I don't need, that I don't know whether it's specifically for a kidney, certainly I can do this. So I did. I went back, I ordered my supply, and I started taking them. I started taking Renadyl twice a day,
Hmm.
or every or two in the morning, and it was transformation because I started feeling better. I started looking better. I started acting better. And lo and behold, in October of 2025, I got my blood work, and my GFR had gone from 46 to 61, a 15 increase in my readings. And that's why I say that Renadyl saved my life. Why do I say, why do I celebrate? Why do I celebrate? Because let me tell you, there is such freedom in knowing that I don't have to go to dialysis.
Hmm.
There is such freedom in knowing that I can advocate for myself. Education is the key. And so I feel very, very fortunate that Renadyl has made a real change in my life.
Yeah, that is absolutely amazing. And and I just put Renadyl does give us a discount. Dadvice 2410. It is not an affiliate link. I do not get a commission if you guys order it or not. I take it. I've been taking it um, within the first year of being diagnosed. It's one of the many things that I do. It helps with inflammation, gut health. Now, are you also, in addition to taking the Renadyl, are you staying active?
Absolutely. James, I walk about 2.5 miles every day. I go to water aerobics twice a week. And I am very active. I volunteer in different places. But let me tell you something about shopping and shopping for kidney health products.
Hmm.
There is a free app that is called Yuka, Yuka. And this app scans it scans foods, and it also scans uh, makeup products. And this app is one of the most wonderful apps that I have. I don't go anywhere without using that Yuka app. When I go to the grocery store, it will tell you on a scale of 1 to 100 what this particular item is worth. What it if it's 99, but anything under 50, they will not they will say it is not good for you to put in your body. And so that really helps with my shopping and the decisions that I make in terms of how I shop. So I use it for everything.
Yep, very, very good. And what about your diet? What changes have you made to the foods that you eat? Or typically, what kind of a diet do you follow? Because you may have been eating a good diet to start with.
Well, I was eating a good diet to start with, but when I found out about kidney health, I realized that I could not eat the same way that I've been eating all my life because I love things like collard greens, and
Hmm.
they're so high in potassium. Spinach, all these things that are high in potassium. So I started looking at all of the foods, and then I went to a plant-based diet. And the plant-based diet that I started on really helped me to not only with what I eat, but how I eat, the portions that I have. So that has helped me a tremendous amount.
Yeah, and portion control really is the secret sauce. We're talking about food to a healthy kidney diet. When something is more healthy for us, we can have larger portions. We don't have to eliminate everything, but the things that are not as good for our kidneys, we just eat a lot less of those. Now, how about sodium? Did your doctor make any recommendations for sodium in your diet, which is my number one thing that I always look for?
James, the doctor that the nephrologist that I went to, um, he told me that I was doing, continue to do what you're doing, continue to, he did not specify the kinds of things that I have heard on your program. He
Mm,
did not specify, but I know that sodium is a big not a friend of kidney at all. So yeah, I am very cautious of all of the supplements and things that I should be eating. Very, and the sugars.
yep, yep. There's another. That was the next one I was going to ask. What about sugar? And it's great that you're keeping an eye on it. Now, a lot of the challenges that kidney patients run into with their doctors, and I hear it in your story, is they're good at treating what they were taught, what they learned in school, and doctors and nephrologists didn't get the same education as a dietitian. At any point were you
Right.
referred to a dietitian?
I was there. I have tried several avenues for dietitians, and it just appears to me I was never ever connected to a dietitian. And I don't know if it's because I live in the place that I live, but I was never ever referred to a dietitian. And I have not only requested. Sometimes, in your my chart, you can request,
Mhm.
a dietitian, and I was never so I wasn't able to do that, but I know the importance of having a dietitian.
Yeah, and we get a lot of good dietitians on here, like Jen Hernandez from plantpoweredkidneys.com. Great website, great Facebook group with lots of helpful information and a fantastic and very positive community. Practically everyone who watches Dadvice TV is in those communities and they help each other with
No,
different
yes,
recipes, modifications if someone doesn't like a certain spice,
right.
or they got to cut down on sodium. What are some options? And they come up with lots of great ideas. Now, I want to bring up there were a couple questions
Mhm.
people had in the comments about Renadyl. This is the Renadyl website. Now, if you guys are regulars at Dadvice TV, you know this is what I take. And they just recently released it's been about maybe 4 months ago or just almost 4 months ago, a kidney friendly multivitamin. It is a gummy multivitamin. For those with kidney disease, you don't want to just go out to Costco, go out to Walgreens, and buy vitamins right off the shelf because there's certain things that are in there that are not good for us. Dr. Rowe talks a lot about that, and that's
Mhm.
where Betty heard about it and realized, uh-oh, I need to take these vitamins back. Stick with things that are kidney friendly. Um, but they have the Renadyl, which is a probiotic, just to make that clear to everyone. Renadyl itself is not a multivitamin. It's a probiotic that helps with your gut health. And more research is being done around the gut. And some of the things it helps with is inflammation. It is also very unique strands of probiotics that I think of them like the video game Pac-Man. They consume, they eat up a lot of the bad things that normally get through our system and absorbed into our blood that our kidneys then have to work to filter. So some of it is being taken care of and it goes out in your poo instead of going all the way through your system and having your kidneys manage those. So it helps take some of that burden off the kidneys. That's how I look at how a probiotic like Renadyl works for us kidney patients. And I am a fan of their multivitamin. And if anyone is ordering from them, again, there is that discount code Dadvice2410 right there on the bottom of your screen. It will get you a discount. I can't remember what the discount is. And they also now have these combo packs where they're providing a discount when you're buying both the Renadyl probiotic and the multivitamin. Now, Betty, have you tried their gummy multivitamin yet?
I have, as a matter of fact, I was not in love with gummies, but this one is different. It is
Yep.
softer and it just melts in your mouth almost. And yes, I have tried it. But the other thing I wanted to say, James, was
Yep.
that when you go to the doctor and they're asking you what supplements do you take. Well, the last time I went, they asked and I said I'm taking Renadyl, and they said, well, what's Renadyl? And I said it's a probiotic and a prebiotic
Mhm.
dietary supplement, and it is made especially for kidney function. She said, "Oh, I'll just put probiotic." And I said, "No, ma'am."
Oh,
I said, "You have to put Renadyl. Let me spell it for you." And I spelled it for her. She said, "Oh, renal. Oh, okay." So make sure that there are many probiotics, but let them
mm,
know that you are on the Renadyl as opposed to just a probiotic. And
yep.
yes, I do. I'm in love with the um, kidney, the multivitamin at this point. Yes.
Yeah, and the way you described it is exactly how I described it. When these first came out, they shipped it to me like right away. I got them just as people were first getting them, and the package arrived. I turned on my camera, started streaming as I opened the box and the bottle, and I tried them. And I was expecting that kind of chewy gummy that kind of gets stuck in your teeth, which I'm not a huge fan of. But I was amazed, and I described it how these practically it is a gummy, but it is so soft and it just like melted so instantly and didn't get stuck in my teeth. That I
Yeah.
liked about them. And the flavor
Yes.
was very light and it disappeared quickly when it was done. Now, there's a question here someone asked. This is another good question for people who are making changes that are more positive for their kidney health. Did your doctor talk about your fluid intake and staying hydrated? Was there any conversation about that? And how are you monitoring that if you are?
Yes, I am monitoring. As a matter of fact, I have a super huge container that I
Hey, there
use.
you go. Look at this. I got mine too with the enlisted kidney fund on here, foundation on here.
And that is so important. That's one of the most important things. I think with Renadyl and taking and really staying hydrated is the number one thing, because if you don't stay hydrated it doesn't flush out your system. So that's very important. Wintertime is a little less it's harder, but I just have to make a concerted effort. And sometimes I will set out 6 bottles of water and make sure that that's my intake for today.
Very good. And water has the benefit of not only being good for our kidneys, but helps our skin, helps us stay young. It helps keep the wrinkles back a little bit more. And for me, I'm at that point where I'm doing everything I can to try to prevent my age from catching up with my appearance. All right, now let's see what other questions we might have in here. So, a couple people did ask, and I just want to answer these while they're here on the call. A few people were asking about the different types of water. Just to let everyone know, Regular water is all you need as long as your tap is safe, which it should be for most places. I am in Michigan, and I know Flint, not that far away, has some issues with some of their older pipes. But paying for hydrogenated water, oh my goodness, it's just wasting money, everybody. The
Absolutely.
pH water is not going to make enough of a difference with that pH change in the water to do anything once it gets in your body. Save your money. Just get regular water. If you like bottled water, find the one
Mhm.
that has the flavor you like. Um, there and I also am always hydrating. I always have my giant 52-ounce water bottle with me. Now the
Mhm.
um, my kidney function was extremely low when I was diagnosed, and I had some fluid retention problems at the very beginning where my doctor did have me on a restriction. But once they lifted that restriction, the guideline they gave me, and mine was fairly low, was take my body weight in pounds, and I'm gonna use a different number than my real one. And you guys are gonna know I'm not using my real number when I tell you. Say you weigh 180 pounds, which I wish there was a day. You would drink half of that number, which would be 90 ounces a day. That's the formula that my dietitian gave me, which will make certain you are definitely well hydrated. You're not overhydrated, but you are definitely well hydrated. And, you know, fluid restrictions would come from a doctor if anyone needed to. A few other questions I see in here. People are talking about how many capsules. Now you take 2 a day in the morning, correct?
I do. Yes, I take two in the morning.
Yep. And that's exactly what I do. I take two in the morning. It is recommended to take it with some food that helps it get to where it needs to go a little bit faster. You can take one tablet in the morning, one later in the day if you want. Now, did you experience any changes or side effects when you started, and did they go away?
You know, I did. I experienced a little gas in the beginning, but it went away.
Yep. Exact same thing here, and that's what I hear from some people. Either they have no symptoms or side effects from it, or they might get a little bit of gas. Another benefit that I've
Mhm.
noticed from Renadyl is it helps with preventing constipation. A lot of kidney
It
patients, a
does.
change in the diet, yeah, can cause some
Mhm.
constipation. And then we're wondering, what can I use to help this? Um, since being on Renadyl, and I've been, I think, 6 years now taking it, I have not had constipation at all, which is fantastic. I had a few bad
Mhm.
experiences a long time ago, and I don't ever want those again. I want things moving.
Yeah.
Now, we are about at the end of our time. Is there, as a closing words of advice, what would you say to other kidney patients that are out there that they're scared? They've been diagnosed, they've gone on the internet. There's so much stuff that talks about dialysis. They've heard a doctor say, there's nothing you can do. Just write it to dialysis. What's your words of wisdom that you would like to share based on your experience with them?
Okay. So my words of wisdom would be if you can join a support group like this podcast that comes on every week. If you can join a support group of people that are like minded, I would do that. I would also, and I felt very alone and very, I just felt alone because I didn't have that. But once I began to watch this podcast, and I wasn't a real regular, and I don't know why, because I never. It might have been the time change, but I would
Mm.
just say, celebrate freedom. Know that you are not alone. If you can continue to be a part of a group like this group, do that.
That is excellent. Excellent advice. And being part of a group and a community of others going through it allows us to get inspiration and hope from others that have already been places that we're not there yet. So it helps it definitely not be as scary.
James, I also would like to say that you have to advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
You cannot expect anyone to do it for you. You have to advocate for yourself.
Yep. 100%. Well, Betty, it has been a pleasure, and I love your story so much. Especially, I always love hearing from people who tell me either in an email or through a conversation that I was lost. I went on the internet and I found this guy. He had a lot of energy. And I started listening to him and the people that he was talking to, and things got better. That is just so, so fulfilling to my heart. And I'll definitely be having my wife watch this. But see, I'm such a nice guy. Because sometimes I don't wash the dishes like I should. And, you know, I'll use this as like, hey, look how I'm helping other people. But I appreciate you
And
coming
you're
on
doing a
here.
great job. I compliment you.
Oh, thank
And
you
I
so
appreciate you
much.
letting me tell my story.
Awesome. Well, you have a great holiday, and everyone out there, thank you for being with us tonight and share Betty's story. This is fantastic. Others can learn from the things she did. She stayed active. She's went with a plant-based diet. She added Renadyl, the probiotic, to her treatment strategy. She's been proactive. She made gaining knowledge from good sources, listening to people like Dr. Rosansky, Dr. Johnson, who's come on and talked about how Renadyl came
Yeah.
about, how they discovered that these probiotics are helpful for those with reduced kidney function. Um, and I wish everyone out there a great rest of 2025 and a wonderful holiday, however you celebrate it. All right. Thank you all for being here, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, everyone.